Imagine a world bathed in the soft golden light of a dawn, unlike any we have ever known. A sun rises over an ancient African savanna, painting the sky in hues of amber and rose. The air is crisp, filled with the scent of damp earth and the distant calls of unfamiliar creatures. This is a world of immense scale, where vast plains stretch to meet the horizon, broken only by the silhouettes of ancient trees. We are about to embark on a journey not through centuries or even millennia, but across an almost unimaginable gulf of time. We travel back 4.7 million years to a moment when the Earth itself was settling into a new rhythm. This is the Pliocene epoch, a dynamic era of profound global transformation. The continents, having drifted for eons, were nearing their modern positions. Mountain ranges like the Himalayas were still rising, altering weather patterns across the globe. A gradual cooling trend was underway, causing the vast, dense forests that had dominated Africa to retreat. In their place, a new kind of landscape emerged, a mosaic of mixed woodlands and open grasslands. This changing world presented a formidable challenge, but also a unique opportunity. It was in this crucible of environmental change that the very first chapters of our own human story were written, etched into the fabric of the land itself. Here, we meet our earliest known ancestors. They were not yet human as we know it, but something new, something transitional. These beings, exemplified by fossils like Ardipithecus, were a blend of the old and the new. They possessed grasping feet, a legacy of a life spent in the trees, yet their anatomy shows clear adaptations for walking on two legs. They took the first tentative, perhaps awkward, steps out from the forest canopy and onto the open ground, a revolutionary act that would set in motion the long, winding evolutionary path that ultimately led directly to us. They were pioneers of a new way of being, navigating a world filled with both promise and peril. To truly grasp their story is to embark on a quest to understand the very origins of ourselves. The questions are fundamental, driving decades of scientific inquiry. Why did our ancestors stand up and walk on two legs, abandoning the four-limbed locomotion that had served primates for millions of years? What pressures and advantages drove this radical shift in anatomy? How did they find food in this patchwork environment, sourcing nourishment from both the woodlands they knew and the grasslands they were just beginning to explore? How did they survive amid giant predators and the unpredictable swings of a changing climate? And perhaps most profoundly, how did they care for their young, form social bonds, and cooperate? These behaviors, which leave no fossilized trace, are the invisible threads that began to weave the fabric of society. The answers lie buried deep in the earth, preserved in the fossil record. Each fragment of bone, each mineralized tooth, is a message from this distant past. From these precious and often incomplete remains, scientists painstakingly reconstruct the lives of our ancestors. Around 4.7 million years ago, the evidence points to a crucial turning point in primate evolution. The anatomy of hominins like Ardipithecus, particularly the structure of the pelvis and feet, signals a commitment to a life spent at least partly on the ground. This adaptation didn't happen in a vacuum. It was a direct response to the world changing around them. As dense forests gave way to open woodlands and vast savannas, new pressures created new chances. Standing upright may have helped them see over tall grasses, spot predators, or free their hands to carry food and infants. This journey back to the dawn of our lineage is more than an academic exercise. It reveals the remarkable resilience and profound ingenuity that define the human story, a story of adaptation, survival, and the relentless drive to explore new horizons, which began with a single step 4.7 million years ago. Earth then was familiar and alien. Warmer air, more humid climate, higher seas. East Africa was a dynamic mosaic. Dense riverine forests, open woodlands, grassy plains, sprawling wetlands. Rivers fed corridors of life. Variety brought both challenge and opportunity, open foods, and exposure to watchful predators. Woodlands offered fruits, leaves, insects, and safety in trees. Navigating both worlds was key. Seasonal swings shaped daily life and strategy. Our story begins at a pivotal moment of transition, with creatures of two worlds. Their bodies were a living testament to a profound duality, caught between the familiar safety of the forest canopy and the new opportunities of the open ground. This wasn't a sudden leap, but a slow, tentative dance with evolution, driven by a changing African landscape where forests were shrinking and grasslands expanding. The fossil record provides a precious window into this era. A remarkable skeleton known as Ardi shows that her species, Ardipithecus, reveals a fascinating mosaic of traits. Her anatomy is a puzzle of old and new. The base of her skull, for instance, shows the spinal cord entering from a more forward position than in apes, a subtle but crucial clue that her head was balanced for upright posture. Yet, her long arms and grasping feet, complete with a divergent big toe, made her a confident and capable climber. For Ardi and her kind, the trees still offered essential resources, a reliable source of food, and a vital refuge from predators lurking below. But other parts of her skeleton, particularly the upper pelvis, show adaptations for upright walking, providing stability when on 2 feet. She was comfortable in the trees, and increasingly on the ground. This shift towards walking on 2 legs, known as bipedalism, would become the fundamental human adaptation, the cornerstone upon which all subsequent evolution was built. Why walk? One major advantage was efficiency. It allowed for more energy-efficient travel across the expanding open spaces, a crucial benefit when searching for scattered food and water resources. Critically, bipedalism freed the hands. This simple change had profound consequences, allowing our ancestors to carry food, infants, and eventually, to carry and use tools. Standing tall also improved their vantage point in the tall grass of the savanna, helping them spot both predators and opportunities from a distance. In the famous fossil Lucy, an Australopithecus afarensis, we see these adaptations more clearly. Lucy shows a short, broad pelvis, radically different from a chimpanzee's, providing essential support for the upper body during upright walking. Her thigh bones angled inward, positioning her knees directly under her body. This alignment created a stable, efficient stride, minimizing side-to-side swaying and conserving energy with every step. The early gaits of these hominins likely differed from our own, perhaps a bit more swaying, with feet not yet fully arched. But the commitment to walking was clear, setting our lineage on a revolutionary new path. Every day revolved around finding food, not mighty hunters, humble, opportunistic foragers. Fruits, roots, seeds, nuts, greens, knowledge passed through generations. Teeth tell a plant-heavy, flexible diet with seasonal switches. Animal protein came from insects, eggs, small prey, and scavenging. Teams could drive predators off and prize calorie-rich marrow. Food gathering was communal. Sharing strengthened cooperation and boosted survival. Care made the community resilient. The story of technology doesn't begin with circuits or steel, but with the first simple, purposeful modifications of the natural world. On the vast plains of ancient Africa, our ancestors faced constant challenges that demanded ingenuity. Survival itself was the mother of invention, pushing their evolving minds to see not just what an object was, but what it could become. This cognitive spark, the ability to envision a tool where others saw only a rock or a branch, was the first, most crucial step on our long journey. Long before the first stone was deliberately fractured, organic materials were likely our first toolkit. Wooden digging sticks to unearth nutritious roots and tubers, or branches used to probe for insects, would have been invaluable. These simple aids, though lost to time as they rarely fossilize, almost certainly predate the stone tools that mark a more permanent revolution in our archaeological record. Even using unmodified stones to crack open tough nuts and shells was a significant behavior, one we still observe in our closest living relatives, the chimpanzees. This demonstrates a foundational understanding of physics. using one object to act upon another. But the true leap was yet to come. The great conceptual leap was the act of manufacture. To intentionally fracture a stone, not just to break something else, but to create a new tool with a sharp edge. This required foresight, planning, and a deep, intuitive understanding of the material. Choosing the right kind of rock, understanding the precise angle and force needed for the strike. This was a complex, multi-step process. It was the birth of lithic technology. With a single, well-aimed blow, a simple cobble was transformed. The resulting flake became a knife, an incredibly versatile instrument for butchering carcasses, slicing hides, and shaping wood. These sharp edges fundamentally changed our ancestors' relationship with their environment, giving them access to resources previously locked away. This new technology unlocked a cascade of benefits. Access to meat and marrow provided a dense source of calories and fat, crucial fuel for energy-hungry brains. In turn, these better-fed, bigger brains were capable of conceiving even more effective tools, creating a powerful feedback loop that would accelerate our evolution and set us on a path to changing the world. No permanent settlements, life on the move. Homes were temporary and opportunistic. Daily needs, food, water, safety. Stay days or weeks, then move. Mobility was strategic, guided by intimate mental maps. Refuge from features of the land, tree nests or caves. Security over comfort. Purposeful movement managed risk and reduced overuse. They were intensely social. Survival demanded it. Safety in numbers, more eyes, louder alarms, collective defense. Long dependency created time for learning. Knowledge passed across generations, the roots of culture. Cooperative care freed mothers to forage and strengthened bonds. Provisioning is a deep human trait, binding the group. Rich communication, voices, faces, bodies, coordinated foraging and peace. Here, empathy and cooperation took root. Life on a razor's edge. Find food, avoid death. Ambush cats, bone-crushing hyenas, lurking crocodiles. Even the young faced aerial threats. Water and open ground were perilous. Environmental shocks, floods, droughts, fire, reshaped choices. Injury and disease stalked the unwary. Survival often depended on others. Simple tools and teamwork tipped the odds. Not strength alone, the power of the collective. This is a scientific narrative, pieced from the earth. Fossils, our primary witnesses. Skulls hint at brains, teeth reveal diet, legs prove bipedalism. Volcanic layers fix time. RD at 4.4 million years. Artifacts and cut-marked bones show minds at work and meat on the menu. Lucy proved bipedalism predated big brains. RD pushed it further back. Each find revises a chapter. The search goes on. Patient science reveals how our earliest ancestors endured and became us.